Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Legacy Farm, the podcast. This is your host, JC Young, and today's topic and discussion is this: self-awareness and your team. So last week on our community boardroom call, we had about 50 of our members on that call, and the topic and discussion was around running and managing your team and ultimately building a culture and an environment in your team where people are more than willing to help one another, right? We're on the same mission. We're headed towards the same targets and things like that. Now, a lot of our members and just a lot of farmers, ranchers, business owners in general, they really struggle getting their team to operate at the maximum level that it could be operating at. Now, the question is well, why do we ask this? Well, I've covered this on other videos, and a lot of us growing up on the small farms and the small towns and everything like that, we've developed and been conditioned that you run businesses a certain way. Now, what are those ways? Well, those ways are you micromanage everybody. You treat everybody as an employee, not a team member. You tell them what they can and cannot do. You criticize them and ridicule them when they do make mistakes, and you create this environment where it's not okay to make mistakes. And you just, there's a lot of things. That list could go on and on and on and on. But those are kind of the main ones I want to stick with for right now. Now, the thing is that when we were bringing on a couple of the members to talk about this, one of them was talking about how, I struggle trying to make shifts inside of the culture of my team and really get them to work as one cohesive unit and not be just all out for themselves and be more willing to help each other. And I'm trying to figure out how to solve that. I said, well, how have you conditioned them for the past 2 decades? Because this customer of ours has been in business for 30 years. And he said, well, not the right way. And so I said, okay, so you have to understand this and be considerate of this because you've conditioned them that you are going to operate your business a certain way, and you've done this for 2 decades, right? So now when you go in and you try to make changes, it's like trying to get anybody to make a change, right? It's difficult, right? They may do it for a little bit, but eventually they go back to this thing, the way they used to do something. It's the same thing when you try to step in as a business owner or the leader of a team, not the boss of employees, the leader of a team, and you try to step in and be a different individual, right? You try to step in and start doing things differently, build a different culture, build a different environment. And the team's like, they get pumped up for a day and then they're like, well, yeah, you'll just go back to the way things were. That's a problem, right? That's a problem. That's what you see a lot of business owners do. They want to change for a little bit, but they don't want to make any lasting change. Now, this is where this topic of self-awareness comes into play. The team that you want to build, the type of culture that you want to build, you will not build it. If you're a farmer that has been struggling with this or a business owner that has been struggling with this, you will not build it until you go to work on yourself. You will not change your team until you change yourself. You will not change your finances until you change yourself. You will not change any part of your operation until you change yourself. Our members coming to Legacy Farmer, they're coming in so that they can change themselves, right? We're working on a lot of this personal stuff and shifting mindsets and things like that on top of helping them with every financial angle of the business, because we can give them the secret. When it comes to finances, we can show them exactly how to set up their business, help them do it, get everything structured, organized, efficient. They know exactly where they're at financially. But at the end of the day, all that work that we do, it could be pointless for some people if they're not willing to change how they operate the business and who they are internally. So this is why this whole topic around self-awareness comes into play, because the individual's got to be willing to change. And you have to be willing to stick to it. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard to sell, actually. It's going to be really difficult because you're trying to unwire 30 years of conditioning in your mind of being a certain person and doing things a certain way. And you were literally trying to kill the old version of yourself that ran things a certain way and create this new one. And when you go through that phase, like some of you listen to this, you're going to know what I'm talking about. When you're trying to kill an old version of yourself, you literally feel like you're dying. Like you're so uncomfortable. Like you just feel sick to your stomach because you feel just so outside of your comfort zone because you're not in your comfort zone. You're doing a bunch of different things. You're doing new things. You're trying to have difficult conversations or set a new standard or change the culture and have conversations with your team that you've never had before and stuff like that. And I totally get it. It's challenging. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what results do I want? Because if the members coming into the Legacy Farmer, they got to the point where it's like, hey, we've been doing things a certain way for decades now. Like we have to make a change or we're not going to survive long term, right? And a lot of these people are extremely successful business owners, but they're worried about their team and what type of business and operation they're passing on to their kids. All of our members are focused on building legacies that are going to last and making sure that our operations are sustainable and profitable for multiple generations, and not just profitable for the family that owns it, but also profitable for their entire team. I mean, think about this, guys. Think about this. A lot of farmers and ranchers out there right now are so selfish in that they hire on a person, they treat him as an employee, that's why they call him a hired man, and they're doing everything and expecting this person to work for them and do everything for the sole benefit of their own family, right? Of the owner's family, versus taking the approach of, hey guys, we want to build this culture and this environment here, and we want to build an extremely profitable business that's profitable for not only the owners of the business, but profitable for all of our team as well. We want you guys to find the financial success here that we want to as well. We want you guys to help meet your family goals and achieve your personal goals and everything inside of your life as well. You see how different that is from the way a majority of farmers or ranchers run their teams today? Or I'm not even call them teams, because if you're majority of farmer ranchers, they're treating their people like employees, and that's sad, because the thing is, like, guys, your team, when they come and they're dedicating their life or spending their hours per day working for you, it's your responsibility to create an environment that they want to be a part of. It's your responsibility to create an environment where it's not just about the money there. And everybody, like talking with one of the members yesterday on the community boardroom call about this. And he goes, I like to tell myself that they're just here for the money. I'm like, well, that's great, but we've already seen proof across the entire network how many people have lost really good team members on their team because of a toxic environment, and they went and took a pay cut to go work at another farmer's operation because the environment was better. So guys, at the end of the day, it's not about the money. I don't care how many times you tell yourself, oh, they're just here because of the money. Well, if they're there because of the money, that means you're attracting the right people, and you're attracting the type of people that are not going to really go to bat for you long-term and be extremely loyal for you. If you take the approach and you become self-aware enough to where you go to work on yourself and you truly change yourself, you are going to then understand how to help other people change. You are then going to have a different understanding of how other people operate. You see what I'm getting at here, right? It goes back to this whole learn, live, lead, right? So you learn something first. You have to go through, work on the stories for yourself, working on changing your habits, how you lead people and things like that. You learn these things, then you live them. You have to actually implement the things that you've been taught. You actually have to go in and get some experience doing this. Once you've done that, then you're qualified to lead other people on this. And a lot of farmers and ranchers are trying to lead their team to make changes when the owner is not willing to make any changes on themselves. You know what I mean? You see how ass backwards that is, and that will never work long term, and you will create even more toxic environment within your team there because you're doing things that way. So you have to be the first one to jump. As the owner, as the business owner, you have to be the first one to step in, make some changes on yourself. Don't even talk to your team yet. Just go through and think about the way that you've run the operation, how you've conditioned them to be, and how you've been conditioned to be, running this thing as a business owner, and go through and start working on yourself first. You have to have a level of self-awareness so that you can better lead and understand other people that you are working with. Not only is this going to benefit you and your team, it'll benefit you in every area of your life. When you think about some of the greatest leaders or some of the most impactful people in this world, that most of them had one commonality, and that is that they knew and they understood people because they knew and understood themselves. And when you get to this point, you really truly understand yourself at a deep, deep level, man, it makes leading other people so much easier. It makes being able to connect with people and build loyal relationships with people so much easier. But again, if the business owner is not willing to change, it does not matter. Nothing will happen. The environment will stay the same, or it will get worse. It'll continue to be toxic, and you will continue to struggle building the life that you want for your family and your operation long-term because of your unwillingness to change. So my friend, at the end of the day, if there's anything that you take away from this podcast, look in the mirror. Are you proud or happy with the person that you are? And for most of us, the answer is going to be no. And most of us, the answer should be no. I mean, when I first went through all this work on myself after I left the bank in 2016, 2017, I was not happy with the guy I was in my life. And I could openly say it. It was the first time I admitted it, looking in the mirror, writing out all the things that I was not happy that I did in my life, who I was, how I treated people, or anything. And then I went to work on changing those things. And it's a long process, but I'm telling you, it is worth it in the long run, big time. The investment here will pay off tenfold for you over your lifetime if you just go to work on yourself, because your ability to connect and build loyal relationships with your team, with other people in your community, with other potential business opportunities or whatever, it's going to expand tenfold, and you will be so much better off long term, and so will your family, my friends. So that concludes today's episode. Hope you found it valuable, and we will catch you on the next one. What's up, everyone? My name is Jace Young. I'm the founder of a company called Legacy Farmer, and inside of that company, what we do is we've helped over 300 family farms simplify and streamline the entire financial side of their operation and help them learn their numbers at a deep level so that they can implement the systems and the processes to make sure that their operation lives on for generations into the future.